Aloha and greetings, everybody. This is Master Sio coming to you from the Ahiah Center for Spiritual Living in Pasadena, California. Thank you for joining us here for a powerful meditation that will lift your spirits, calm your mind, and boost your immune system by boosting your frequency. I am a Hawaiian Kahuna, or by training a native Hawaiian priest, and also a master of medical Qigong. Qigong is an ancient Chinese art of moving or boosting energy so that you can help yourself as well as to help other human beings. Meditation is a process of calming your mind. I myself calm my mind in complete silence, preferably if it's available to me, or even in a busy environment, I can quiet my mind, and this is very easy for me to do after many years of training. But you can foster a calmer environment inside yourself through our five senses, through interpretation by your heart and your mind of what you are observing, whether you are observing with your eyes or your sense of smell, how things feel or touching, how it tastes, what you hear, and so on. Now I want you to participate in a small experiment with me by gently closing your eyes and just listen to the sound of my voice and observe what it is that you are feeling. Are you feeling tending more toward being calm? Does it make you feel agitated, or there's maybe no effect on you whatsoever? So please just close your eyes and observe what you feel. Ko ofau ia koe. Ko ofau ia koe. Wo aini. Wo aini. Te quiero, te quiero, te amo. Me tumhen pia karatahun. Me tumhen pia karatahu. Me tumhen pia karatihun. Me tumhen pia karatihu. Ana ohi buka. Ana ohi buka. Ana ohi buki. Eu te amo, eu te amo, Yali blue te bia, Yali blue te bia. Aishiteru. Aishiteru. Isteru Ich liebe dich. Ich liebe dich. Te amo. Te Ani ohev otak. Ani ohev otak. Enike nine istamanu. Enike nine istamanu. Nakupenda. 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 And now the translation. I love you. I love you. You can open your eyes now. In the beginning, I know that some of you probably speak Spanish or other languages beside English. Did you have a feeling at all about the context of the words that you heard? And pardon me if the pronunciation was not exact, if you are a native speaker. How many of those sentences that I uttered did you really understand? It'd be curious to know if anybody missed everything until the very, very end, when I gave you the key to understanding what I had been saying and what I had been chanting. There's also an actual good reason why I chanted. I wanted to know how the subtle vibrations of these words affected you. If they did make you feel more calm rather than, say, tending toward aggressiveness, please press the love button on your screen so I have some idea if anyone picked up on it, just the feeling without necessarily understanding the words themselves. Oh, good. So, just to help you out, I used some of these languages, Chinese, Spanish, English obviously, Hindi, Arabic, Portuguese, Russian, Japanese, German, Latin, which curiously was te amo. That also happens to be the same thing for Spanish. Although Spanish I used both te quiero and te amo. Oh, I just remembered one that I should have done was je t'aime. For those of you who are French, okay, so I don't want to just omit you guys. And Hebrew was very, very interesting. And toward the end, there was a Swahili saying, which was nakupenda. I like the sound of nakupenda. It kind of reminds me of the essence or the flavor of the word Ubuntu. During our time up to this point, I have been trying to infuse several sentiments or concepts into your awareness as part of our meditation through the chants, through the explanation of certain things, and raise your awareness and acceptance of care, of wanting to help others, of empathy, of collaboration with other people. You see, whether you are listening to me, just the sound of my voice, or you actually see my image, there are these little subtle lights that are readily seen by your cat and dog and other animals that are being emitted from me. Whatever I'm thinking is being emitted and infused into your own psyche, and whatever you are thinking and conjecturing in your own mind, I am receiving a certain measure of it. The more full the engagement, the deeper the connection. But through the sound of my voice and the sentiments that I'm explaining, you are already sliding deeper and deeper into relaxation, which is the beginning stage of the deepest part of healing in this healing meditation. So I urge you and encourage you to keep observing acutely what it is that you are feeling, what it is that you are seeing, and just the observation will enable you to change things like your DNA, your sub-DNA, and to affect your body and the way that it behaves, say, absorbing the concepts of caring, of collaborating, of empathy, of loving most of all yourself, and then with a rippling effect, loving others as well. Versus, when you love yourself completely, you naturally repel ideas like aggression, like wanting to dominate others, or wanting to grab power as much as you can, not only over yourself, which is a great thing, but over others. There's no need. So even at this moment, you and I are having a conversation much deeper and much more profound and effective than just talking, say, you and I, sitting chatting on a park bench. Everything that is occurring around us is causing profound shifts in your awareness, and by being aware of the shifts, you slide very, very easily into the healing zone. The subtle communication that I referred to earlier involve the emitting of these low-level lights called biophotons. As you look into my eyes now, there is a constant buzzing back and forth of these little lights from around my general area into you, but most particularly from my third eye, which is about here. Please focus your eyes now on my third eye in a relaxed manner and just continue to observe what it is you are feeling. At the very least, you should be feeling a form of relaxation already, subtle perhaps at the very beginning, but you are certainly there at some level right at this moment. It is possible that you will see some kind of light around me. When you see this, please remind yourself that this light is your light. I am like a reflection from here, a mirror reflection of you. So when you see lights or morphing into various images, they denote something about your own existence. If you see a brilliant burst of light, that is light that's being emitted from yourself. And the proper answer or reaction to it would be, oh gee, that's my light. And you should be expressing gratitude just to yourself. At the same time, if you wish to, you can say something like, whatever I'm experiencing here that is vastly positive and healing will automatically include, and then fill in the name of someone close to you. Just think it once only. Now I will be quiet for a little while as you continue to maintain your gaze into my third eye. Please gently close your eyes. Gently close your eyes. With your eyes closed, Continue to observe the sensations coming to you and that are occurring inside your body. There also may be some visuals that come to your awareness. For example, it is common to see your body floating in front of you like a glass statue you can see right through. But inside are millions of little lights buzzing around. These are the biophotons that are activated at your unconscious urging of them to uplift your body, to bring you the ideal concepts that you can live by, where you are guided to love yourself deeply and unconditionally, and therefore affecting your own health and affecting your behavior toward others, but above all, having respect and love for yourself with the deepest gratitude for the changes that you have induced in yourself during this meditation. You may be reminded of the concept of Ubuntu, the African word that denotes a quality that includes essential human virtues such as compassion and humanity, your ability to cooperate with others and to sharing with them, and to embrace the need for understanding your fellow human beings as being at one with you. That inasmuch as you love yourself unconditionally, you are able to extend this compassion and love and empathy toward your fellow human beings, that you embrace the concept of sharing the riches that you possess. Like if you had a basket full of apples, you would willingly share them with your friends and your neighbors, making sure at the same time that you serve yourself also. In your life, you will understand the need for extending a helping hand to your neighbor, that those who have wronged you deserve a little bit of your forgiveness and your compassion, that you reach out to them with love, because love is truly the only answer in these troubled times that we are passing through. You may now open your eyes and look around you, and you will notice that everything looks brighter.
Hi, Master Sio. This is Sylvia. I just wanted to share with you what I saw on your last meditation. I was able to look at you and I saw that your light, your aura was beautiful, just all over you. It was very bright and I was able to see it. I practiced that and I was able to see it larger and larger on you. And I just wanted to thank you for all the help you have been giving me.
Thank you once again for joining us here for our beautiful meditation. Please don't go away. In just a few moments, our celebration service will begin, led by our senior minister, the Reverend Scott Olson. Thank you once again, and aloha.
Well, thank you, Master CEO. That's wonderful. I'm so glad you're able to continue being with us in this special healing service before our Sunday celebration. I know that it is very uplifting for the Ahiah congregation, and I know that there's a lot of people who come in to see you and get their immunity boosted and their frequency boosted. And so I think all of this is wonderful work, and we're so happy to contribute to that. And so if you are here to see Master CEO, we bless you, honor you for being here. And we would like to ask you if you would be willing to donate a few dollars, maybe $5 to Ahiah, to help Master CEO stay on the air, so to speak. And if you would, you can go ahead and donate a few ways to Ahiah. One is to go to our website, ahiah.com/donate, and you can either click on the Breeze link or you can do it by Venmo or YouTube. And then you can also text to give, and you can do that by texting a number that you want to give to the telephone number listed here, which is 616-229-2225. And we also accept checks. You can mail those to 150 North El Molino Avenue, Pasadena, California, 91101. However you donate, we truly, truly appreciate the donation. It helps us a lot. It helps Master CEO a lot, and we truly appreciate it. And we would love for you to stay around for our Sunday celebration, which is going to start up in just a few moments. Thank you, and namaste.
Good morning, family, and welcome to live streaming from the Ahiah Center for Spiritual Living in beautiful downtown Pasadena, California. I'm Reverend Michael Bernard Lattimore, your assistant minister. It's my honor today to be your host for our live streaming and welcome you to God's Party. Our musical inspiration today is the amazing Sharon Scott. She'll be accompanied by the Ahiah Sunday Meeting Band. That's our licensed practitioner and musical director, Chris Glick, Leon Johnson on bass, and Brian Menifee on percussions. Of course, Chris will be tickling the keyboard as usual. So our theme for this month is inclusion in action. Today's wisdom talk is Better Together, delivered by our senior minister, Reverend Scott Olson, and I'll also step in and deliver a short power talk. Our practitioner of the day is Practitioner Emeritus Nancy Thompson, who is guaranteed to take you into very deep and loving consciousness with her prayer and with the inspirational reading today. Also, if you are on Facebook Live, make sure you say hi to Louise Mucha. She's our moderator in the Facebook room and will be moderating the chat. Be sure you get a chance to say hi to everyone in the chat room. And on YouTube is Peter Bedard moderating, and also in the Zoom room, Mindy Morrison moderating the Zoom room. And so with that, let's join together as we take a deep centering and cleansing breath and prepare for the meditation, the invocation, and the inspirational reading by our practitioner emeritus, Nancy Thompson. Namaste.
Well, there's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and a sunny side too. Though we meet with the darkness and strife, the sunny side we also may view. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Oh, the storm and its fury broke today, crushing dreams that we cherish so dear. Clouds and storms will in time pass away. The sun again will shine bright and clear. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Let us greet with a song of hope each day. Though the moments be cloudy or fair, let us trust in our Savior always, to keep everyone in His care. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to take just a second to see all your faces. I'm going to bring them in to just see all your faces, all the people I'm missing. And then I'm going to bring in all the faces that are coming from Alabama or India or other places that can come and see us and not drive here. So I'm just taking a second to bring you all here together with me. So as we know, we've given ourselves a huge gift to be here this morning. We've given ourselves a big gift. And so as we prepare ourselves for the day, feet on the floor, shoulders back, let that heart just expressing out to the universe all the love, expressing into yourself all the love that there is. We just know that we are one together here. And I always start with gratitude. I always start with gratitude because gratitude is just, it's a fertilizer. It's just the best thing to make things grow, to make your life grow. So we come in gratitude for the beautiful morning. We come in gratitude for our beautiful gardens. And wherever we are, whatever it is, if it's raining, we come in gratitude for the rain. We come in gratitude for whoever can be with us and whoever we need to talk to on the phone. We just come in gratitude. But the major gratitude is knowing that we are one, absolutely one, 24/7, with the one mind of God. Absolutely one with that one mind of God. That divine presence of love. That's all God is, a divine expression of love. And then there's that infinite intelligence, that infinite intelligence that's out there just plotting our good for everything to just make our lives perfect the way it needs to be. It's out there plotting our good as we attach ourselves to it, as we are aware, as we are guided, as we listen to that intelligence. And Ernest Holmes told us, we have the power. We have the power to use that love, to use that intelligence in our lives to bring forth all the harmony, all the joy, all the health, all the abundant wealth, all the peace, liberty, all those wonderful things into our lives. It's that divine expression of love, that infinite intelligence, and that power. We so underestimate our power. Know your power, because you have the power to use that love and use that intelligence to manifest anything in your life. And so as we come together today, we prepare ourselves to hear the music. We prepare ourselves to hear Reverend Mike and Reverend Scott, knowing that we'll go away with something that will take us through the week in a beautiful way. So settle back, know who you are, this divine being with the intelligence and power to use it. Sit back and know that this is who you are and this is what we're about at this moment. And so it is. You know, there's this favorite metaphor that we religious science just love. We use it all the time, but boy, is it working now. We love that idea of the caterpillar can become a butterfly. I mean, it's just one of our favorites. You know, change your thinking, change your life. We've used it and used it and used it, and we just love it. And it isn't a baby lamb growing up to be a sheep. No, it's that caterpillar becoming caterpillar becoming the butterfly. That's the magnificence. So we have sort of been put into a cocoon. We've been put into this little cocoon now, and what are we doing with it? Are we going to come out of that cocoon the same person we were before because we didn't do much? Or are we really going to look at some of our habits? Are we going to look at some of maybe our beliefs that are maybe stopping us? Are we maybe going to read something different than what we really used to read? Are we going to look at some of our old stories and see if they're any good? You know, in my previous church, I was known as Nancy. Don't tell me your story twice. Or more nicer, Nancy, only tell me your story once. Because the more we tell that story, the more it becomes a... Now, if it's wonderful and all the things that's going on, tell it, tell it, tell it. But if it's this poor me one, don't keep telling it. Get a new one. And so what are we going to do in that cocoon? How are we going to come out? I'm painting my wings just a new color. I'm just thinking how fancy that butterfly is going to be when I come out of this cocoon. I'm just creating something really new. Not that clumsy little caterpillar that went in there. Come out as this lighter, freer being. So we'll come out of our cocoons. We'll all fly together in beautiful ones. I can't wait to see your butterflies. You know, Rumi's one of my favorite poets. And Rumi says, there's a place up there where there's no right or wrong. I'll meet you there. And I love that. So I'm looking forward to all our butterflies coming out of this cocoon, and we'll meet you there at Rumi's place of no right or wrong. So it is. Namaste, and I love you.
Good morning, Ahiah. I'm really happy to be here today and to be singing. I've really missed singing for you at Ahiah. It's been such a long time, and I've been used to singing here for many, across the street and here for many, many years. So I'm really happy to be here today, and I'm going to be doing a song that I wrote, and it's called Think About Love, and I think it's kind of appropriate for where we are today, and I wish you and knowing for all of you peace and perfect health and joy and love. Thank you, and I appreciate being here. Thank you. If I can just remember who I am, if we can just remember who we are, if I can just get my head out of myself, think about you. Think about love. Think about peace. Think about God. Then I know it will be a better world for us. Think about love. Think about peace. Think about God. Think about you. Think about love. Think about peace. Think about God. Then I know it will be a better world for us.
So thank you, Sharon Scott. That is a wonderful song. And I love the song title, which is Think About Love. And that's because when I hear that song, it makes me think about love. It makes me think about all the people in my life that I love and how much more I would have in my life if I loved even more people, if I let even more people in. And so that's a great segue into our talk a little bit later on. And so thank you for that. And by the way, it's so good to have you back at Ahiah, Sharon. So my name is Reverend Scott Olson. I'm the senior minister here at Ahiah Center for Spiritual Living. And it's truly wonderful to see you and meet you and greet you in this virtual land that we have created so that our regular members can connect with each other, connect with the people that they know and they love by chatting in the chat room, whether that's on Facebook or YouTube or on our Zoom call. Just chat and say hi, connect with the people that you know and that you love. If you're new to Ahiah, we want you to chat there also because it's a great way for us to get to know a little bit about you. If you want to get to know more about us, we invite you to go to our website, which is at ahiah.com. And if you want to subscribe to our weekly newsletter, just go to ahiah.com/subscribe and fill out the form, and we'll get you the newsletter this coming Friday. So the theme for the month of August has been inclusion in action, and we're on our 4th week already of this topic. And what we've said so far is that inclusion kind of implies oneness. And that as I think about oneness and inclusion, it begs me to ask myself to focus on my own relationships with life and how am I doing with those? Now, the truth is that as a whole, people on this planet right now tend to see themselves as individuals, as individual people, and they have kind of a bubble of what it is that is theirs that they walk around with. So they're the center of their own universe in many ways. And you, when you come into contact with me, some of your universe kind of overlaps with my universe. And then, it can get a little bit strange. Sometimes it's wonderful. Sometimes it's strange. Sometimes all I want to do is tell you to get out of my universe, right? This is my universe. I want it all to myself. But Ernest Holmes, he tells us this. It's shown right here on the screen. He says, if our human relations are to mean the most to us, we must sense that there is hidden within, around, and through each of us a divine presence manifesting itself in infinite variation. So while we are individualized, we're also part of the one. We are a divine expression of that one life that God is. So we're an individualized expression of the one life, and yet we are also like snowflakes. You know, how the scientists, they tell us that snowflakes, that there are no two snowflakes that have ever been the same. And there's way more snowflakes than there have been humans, right? Way, way, way more snowflakes in this universe than humans. So it's easy to imagine humans, who are much more complex than a snowflake, to be individual, to no two to be the same. And so today's world, it kind of asks us and wants us to see ourselves as individualized, though. It really stresses that individualization. And yet, it also wants us to label people and to group them together and to see them as that group, which is another way of saying that to stereotype people. And stereotyping, what it does is it leads to prejudice, which then leads to discrimination. And we see that rampant in our world right now because we label and because we stereotype. We want to see people as a group. It's, it just makes it easy for us to typecast people and make choices about them. So Ernest Holmes, what he's saying is he's reminding us that we're all the same. At the same time that he's reminding us that we're all unique. To me, this sounds a bit like a paradox, and it sort of is. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how, do we get past this paradox? How do we live within this way of seeing us as individual and also all as one, not as a group, but all as one in the one life that God is, and how do we live from that place? And so we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Right now, I'm going to ask Reverend Mike to come and tell us a little bit more about what he knows about inclusion in action.
Today, I received an article from the Washington Post that said it's time to ditch toxic positivity. Toxic positivity, denying the bad, can exacerbate the rising tide of negative emotions by preventing people from working through the serious issues that they're experiencing in a healthy way, experts say. The Census Bureau reports spikes in signs of anxiety and depression since coronavirus, saying that 1/3 of Americans are now showing signs of clinical depression and anxiety. Jobless claims, pandemic quarantine, economy woes, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, eve of destruction, tax deduction, city inspectors, bill collectors, mod clothes in demand, population out of hand, suicide, too many bills, hippies moving to the hills. Sounds like a ball of confusion to me. Well, duh, no wonder people are upset. I mean, there's so much going on that it's challenging. And although toxic positivity can be like eating too much ice cream, because too much can make you sick, it can still be a good thing, I believe, to nurture optimism. I don't think it rules out optimism as a good thing, because optimism is not the same thing as toxic positivity. And this article is talking about denying the effects that you're experiencing. Julia Bohm is an assistant professor of psychology and well-being. She's the director of health and well-being laboratory at Chapman University. And her research has shown that optimism can be a good thing. She says that if your goal is to be healthy and you're optimistic about being able to meet that goal, you might be more likely to choose behaviors that are in line with your goal. So if your goal is to develop resilience to the stressors that are around us, you'll be much more likely to choose healthy behaviors, like limiting your intake of bad news, which is virtually all news. Although Bohm's work suggests that it's the optimism that leads to the benefits, she says it's certainly possible that engaging in healthy behaviors could also influence a person's level of optimism. What kind of healthy behaviors? Well, reaching out to others, for example, sharing your feelings, participating in your own healing process. You can't heal what you won't reveal. If you go to the doctor and say nothing's wrong, then he can't help you. So it's not effective to be positive to the extent that you deny what's ailing you. Now, that doesn't prevent you from being hopeful or optimistic. And optimism has also been linked to happy romantic relationships, a reduced likelihood of becoming cognitively impaired, fewer sick days, and lower levels of pain. I think I suffer from optimism because I have those symptoms. But what we know is that being in community, being connected, allows us to heal so much of the toxicity surrounding us. So we are better together. Together, we are more resilient. We're diverse, so there's a wealth of perspectives in community. Together, there's validation. So when you share with me the struggle that you're having, and I say, me too, then you realize that you are not alone. Maybe we commiserate about some aspect of social justice that's not working, and together we decide that we're going to do something. Maybe we come up with a plan that takes that feeling of helplessness when we were alone and transmutes it into action and optimism that we can make a difference. And maybe when I call you and share my anxiety and my depression, and then you say, I'll be your prayer partner. For prayer works in the realm of mind. Unlike the human characteristics of positivity and negativity, prayer works on truth principle. It's based way above the human realm and can never be considered toxic, for it's based on truth. And I believe that prayer can inspire optimism, and optimism based upon action, whether that be healthy choices or healthy beliefs, can lead to desired outcomes, to what we really want to create. So rather than suffer in silence, alone, worried, and having blind faith in the worst possible outcome, why not practice being a vital part of your community? Share your light, your hurt, your perspectives, and your healing with another human being. Share your healing presence. So pick up that phone right away and call somebody. Reach out, okay? You'll be glad you did, and sorry if you don't, because it's true. Together, we are better. Namaste, family.
Oh, thank you, Reverend Mike. I love the way that you do your power talks. I'm so happy that we get to share this time together like this. So this week's talk title is Better Together. And it is true. It is definitely true, I think. We're always better together than separate, because the opposite of better together is better by myself. And that's something that kind of leads to selfishness, and it leads to meism. And I think we see a lot of that going on in the world right now. And I think there's a lot of reasons why that's going on in the world right now. We see it in our politics. We're taught it from our crib. You know, it's time, I think, for us to start recognizing how inclusion in action is the better way, because we are better together. But not Ernest Holmes, but Ralph Waldo Emerson, he was a bit of a firebrand back in his day, and so he's a very straight talker. He says this. He says, anyone, a fool or an idiot, can be exclusive. It comes easy. It takes and it signifies a large nature to be universal, to be inclusive. Only the man or woman of a small, personal, self-centered, self-seeking nature is exclusive. And we are seeing that small nature abound around us. And we're talking about it all the time because, you know, it's embedded in politics right now, in the politics of our time. This idea of inclusion versus exclusion is built into the politics of today. And so we are confronted with it on a daily basis all of the time. And what this is asking us to do, what Ralph Waldo Emerson is doing, is he's asking us, do we want to love ourselves exclusively, or do we want to love ourselves and also love the world? And I think when I think about this, that, we find that as we love the world, we find and love ourselves at the same time. So we love ourselves and love the world at the same time. We find ourselves in the world that we love. Now, I've struggled with this particular issue for years, primarily as a child, definitely as a young adult, because in those times, I really saw myself as separate. I would tell people that I thought of myself as out here, not better than, but just different than, separate from everybody else. And I would be out here and I'd be watching all those other people around me. When I was a kid, my mother, she used to say, you know how it is with parents. They have these sayings that they say over and over and over again. They get into your mind. You can't get them out, or it takes a long time to get them out. She used to say this. She'd say, if y'all want something done right, do it yourself. And so I heard that so many times, I embedded it in my own beliefs. And so I would do the same thing. If I wanted something done right, I would do it myself. And I would do all sorts of things myself. In school, I would do group projects, and I would somehow, because this is the way the creative process works, I would find myself in a group where I was the only one who wanted to do anything. And so I would just do it myself, and I was happy to do it that way. I was thrilled because the alternative was to work with those guys over there, which I didn't want to do. So I've lived with this idea that I'm separate, and I've been out there because I've been gay, and I wanted to separate myself from the people who didn't like gay people, didn't want gay people around. Well, that was okay. I would be out here. I was also smart, and sometimes it's hard to, I didn't have the skills as a young person to interact with people that didn't show up in the same way of being smart that I am smart. It doesn't mean that they're not smart. It's just they're not smart the way that I'm smart. And so I saw myself as different. They couldn't get me to believe. I grew up in high school. I went to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I lived in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I went to Coeur d'Alene High. And around me were all these Birch Society people who believed in all these conspiracy theories. And I was like, no, I'm not going to believe in that. That's crazy. So I was separate from everybody. But what I learned is that it was better to be reliant. It was better for me to be together with other people. By loving myself and including those around me, I also found myself in the world for the first time. Rather than being outside looking in, I was part of the world. And I'm a much happier person here in the world with everybody else. So the trick is, to do this is we also have to make sure first and foremost that we love ourselves, because we cannot love someone else unconditionally if we have not first learned to love ourselves unconditionally. I want to tell you what Russell Anthony Gibbs says, and this comes from the principle of oneness. He says, choose to love every facet of yourself unconditionally. You are a complex, multidimensional being, and loving yourself requires identifying, accepting, and loving all of your seemingly separate parts. Now, I've been a minister for a little over 3 years. I've been a practitioner for, I think, 14 years. I've been a practitioner, therefore, a lot longer than I've been a minister. And when I was a practitioner, I did a lot of counseling. I counseled a lot of people. And one of the things that I learned in that counseling and doing all of that counseling was I would teach over and over again to love yourself, and love yourself by integrating yourself, loving all the different pieces, the part that you loved, the part that you hate, the part you like, the part you don't like, the part that you're proud of, the part that just makes you ashamed. That's how you love yourself unconditionally. Once you can do that, then you can love other people unconditionally for sure. So, how should I show up in the world? How should I be in the world? Well, I think the answer to that is that I want to be like Spirit is, right? If I have this thing that I already am, and it works in a particular way, and it comes out of being, all loving, all knowing, all powerful, then why wouldn't I run my life the same way? Now, one of the things, if you watch Spirit create, I can guarantee you this, it does not create out of a vacuum. If you want something and you pray for it, it just doesn't magically appear out of thin air. What Spirit does is it uses everything it needs over all the time that it needs to create that which is there. And that's what we should be doing also. We should be trying to live in accordance with this creative process that we see as the truth of Spirit. So let me give you an example. This podium right here, it was the answer to a prayer, but it did not just poof into existence in this sanctuary. This was a gift to the congregation for my installation. And so 30 people, they gave money, they donated towards the money that was needed for this podium, as well as some other things that are here in the sanctuary. But they, this was the big prize. This was the big thing that they donated towards. And so when I came for the installation one day, it did kind of seem like it had poofed into existence because I hadn't seen it before I opened the doors. They opened the doors, I walked in, and I saw all that was in here that was different. And this was one of those that was different. But the truth is it started with that prayer, and then the 30 people donated money, but somebody also, they had to design this podium. Somebody had to build the podium. Somebody had to get the materials for the podium. Those materials, let's just take the plexiglass that we see right here. That plexiglass is made out of petroleum. In order to get the petroleum, some dinosaurs had to die a couple 100,000 years ago in order to start the transformation process that would create the petroleum that we would collect, turn it into plexiglass, which would end up being bought, that would be made into this podium. All this interrelated, intertwined stuff. It is better together. That's what I'm knowing. When we act on our own, when we don't act in this way that Spirit's pointing to, and we act on our own, we are separating ourselves from Spirit. We're separating ourselves, therefore, from life, and we're separating ourselves from our own good. So it's better together. It's also stronger together. If you look at the picture here, it's a picture of a wire rope or metal rope. But what you see is that there are strands of individual wires that are made up into these multi-wire strands that are then intertwined with each other into this rope. that's a lot of intertwining. That's a lot of togetherness. And what it creates is it creates something that's very flexible and something that's very strong. And what I know is that Ahiah is like this stranded rope, this metal rope. We're very strong and we're very flexible. And we're made up of groups of people that are intertwined. Groups like our musicians who create our music together. They don't do it separately. Our practitioners who pray for everyone here and do all the stuff that practitioners do together as a group. The ministers act as a group. And the truth is, and the volunteers, all the different volunteers we have, act in groups of people. And the truth is that what we do here at Ahiah could never be done by an individual. And what we are and the way we are makes us strong and it makes us flexible. So the question then is, what can we do? And I think the answer comes from this man who you see here. You might even recognize him. His name is John Bon Jovi. He's one of the most famous singers of our time. And John Bon Jovi, he started a few years ago, he started a restaurant, a nonprofit organization that created a restaurant that is called JBJ, which is for John Bon Jovi, Good or Soul Kitchen. JBJ Soul Kitchen. And their process in life is that they get people to come into their restaurant, patrons who pay for the food. They ask them to pay a little bit forward, which means that a little bit extra is paid, and that little bit extra is collected, and it ends up paying for meals for people who can't afford it. And the way the people who can't afford it get their food is they come to the restaurant, they get trained to work in restaurants, they work for a little bit, they get a certificate where they can cash in for food, they get their food, and everybody is good. It's a great system. But since the pandemic, what's happened is that John Bon Jovi's restaurant hasn't been able to be open. Not in the traditional way. And yet he recognized that there was a bunch of people who didn't have food. Their problems were exasperated by the pandemic. And so what he decided to do was he decided to just be open 5 days a week, make a bunch of food, get that food out to the people who needed it for no charge whatsoever. And in addition to that, John Bon Jovi has been the dishwasher every day, 5 days a week, since the pandemic started, since the quarantine started. And so he says that he's learned a lot out of this. And one of the things he's recognized is if you want to know what can we do, the answer is do what we can, right? It's just a scramble of the words. What can we do? Do what we can. And he's taken this to heart by being a dishwasher. It's also inspired him to go out and write a song, which he calls, If You Can't Do What You Do, because he is not able to go out and do concerts and everything like that he was doing. So if you can't do what you do, then do what you can. And Ahiah is similar. We actually participate in a very similar project like this. It's a project where a bunch of restaurants around Los Angeles have gotten together. They're making food, and New Revelations Baptist Church up on Orangewood is collecting the food and then distributing it. And we're in partnership with the New Revelation Baptist Church to help them do those deliveries. And so I think that's a wonderful thing that we can do right now. What can we do? Do what we can. So if you're interested in participating in that, talk to Annette Spence, and she'll be happy to get you all set up to volunteering at New Revelations Baptist. So I want to leave you with an affirmation that will remind you to be inclusion in action. And so it's here on our screen. If you will go ahead and say it along with me. I am the activity of inclusion. I embrace the multiplicity of creation as a community expressing divinity on earth. And so as you leave here today, and so over this coming week, what I'd like you to do is, first of all, as you leave here today, I want you to go to the annual meeting. So as soon as service is over on Zoom, not on Facebook, not on YouTube, so if you're on one of those platforms, you have to switch over to Zoom. You can get it by opening up our newsletter this week and clicking the link, or going to ahiah.com/virtual and clicking on the Zoom link. However you get there right after service. We're going to start as soon as we can right after service. And then I'd also like you to think about how it is true that we are better together. And how do we find ourselves in the world by loving the world? How do you find yourself in the world by loving the world and loving yourself at the same time? And remember to do what we can. And if everything else fails, if you don't know which way to go, what I always say is just trust in Spirit. Thank you, and namaste. And so now let's just anchor these ideas in with a little bit of prayer. And so if you'll go in with me, inside with me, to that place within me that knows that it knows that it knows that there is only one life, one power, one presence, that there is only this oneness that we recognize as Spirit, as God, as life, that in this oneness that God is, there's all these other properties that are all true at the same time. Because Spirit is definitely oneness, but it's also love and peace and harmony and wholeness and prosperity, all at the same time. And as that's true of Spirit, I know it to be the truth of each and every one of us. Since there is only one life, we are each, you and I and everyone else, are just the individualized expressions of the divine. Just. We are the magnificence that God is, as that individualized expression of the divine. I'm knowing absolutely that we are the same wholeness and love and peace and joy and abundance that Spirit is, that's the truth of each and every one of us. And so it's from that place of knowingness that I speak my word as the truth of each of us here today, and each of us who would like to be here today, but maybe haven't been able to join us. I'm knowing absolutely that in this life that God is as oneness, that we are all in this together. We are all individual snowflakes, and we are all snow. And so the truth is that we are all the love and the peace and the joy that God is. And the more that we recognize that, the more that we know that to be the truth of us, the easier it is to see that underlying truth that has always been there and that will always be there, that the world creates from, which is that we are better together than we are separate. We are better looking at how to be together than we are being by ourselves and alone and looking at how to just satisfy me. I know absolutely that the love that God is, it smooths the relationships within each and every one of us, between each and every one of us, so that we can come together as the love and the peace and the joy that God is. I know that in this world that is here right now, where there is so many of the opposites that seem so plain to us, opposite of the love, opposite of the peace, opposite of joy showing up in our lives, opposite of abundance, what I am knowing is that that is not the truth of this life. It's not the truth of my life. It's not the truth of your life. We are better together. We are the love and the peace and the joy that God is. And that life is expressing itself fully and completely as my life and as your life. And so for knowing this truth, I just give thanks. And I release this prayer to the law, knowing that it's already fulfilled in the mind that God is. And I say life and God are good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. And so now is the time for our conscious contribution. So if you will go ahead and take out, you probably have already given to Ahiah, so you just need to virtually take out your gift. And if you haven't given yet, there's some easy ways to get your gift to Ahiah, even in this virtual world. And they're showing up here on the screen right now. One of them is to go to our website at ahiah.com/donate. Another is to text your gift to our text to give number, which is 616-229-2225. And we also always lovingly accept donations through the mail. If you want to mail us a check, please just go ahead and do that by mailing it to Ahiah at 150 North El Molino Avenue, Pasadena, California, 91101. So however you have gotten your gift to Ahiah, if you'll just take that and hold it close to your heart, and if you'll read along with me this blessing of that divinely given gift that you have given, and just say along with me, this gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving, as I now share my gift with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen and amen. And now we're going to have another song by Sharon Scott.
Hello, Ahiah. I'm back. This is Sharon again. And now I'm going to be doing a song by Emily Sandy called Breathing Underwater. It's one of my favorite songs to do. So I hope you really enjoy it. And again, thank you so much for having me here today. Sending you so much love. So much love. Thank you. I believe in miracles, 'cause it's a miracle we're here. I know we're all spiritual, and we're letting go of fear. And it's safe to say storm's gone away. I'm dancing in the morning after. In this joy I will stay. In this life I will play. In all the love and laughter, something like fire, hard to describe it. My God, I'm breathing underwater. Something like fire, hard to describe it. My God, I'm breathing underwater. Every moon and every star knows who just release the fear and sorrow. I'm not living in any yesterday, but in this moment and not tomorrow. Something like fire, hard to describe it. My God, I'm breathing underwater. Something like freedom. I said freedom. My God, I'm breathing underwater. And it's safe to say that the storm's gone away, and I'm living in the morning after. In this joy I will stay, in this life I will play, in all the love and laughter. Something like fire, hard to describe it. My God, I'm breathing underwater. Something like freedom. I said freedom. My God, I'm breathing underwater. Something like fire, hard to describe it. I said, my God, I'm breathing underwater. Something like freedom. I said freedom. My God, I'm breathing underwater. Something like flying. Hard to describe it. Oh, my God, I'm breathing underwater.
Now is the time for a couple of short announcements. First of all, I would like to see every one of you come and join us at our virtual annual meeting, which is going to start as soon as the service is over. You can come join us in our virtual Zoom room by going to ahiah.com/virtual to find the link. At the annual meeting, the members are going to be voting to replace our 2 board members that are leaving the board. That would be Peter and Annette. Thank you, both of you, for all the years of service that you've had on the board. We couldn't have done it without you. And our nominees to replace Peter and Annette are Myrna Hawthorne and Deborah Glick. So please join me for that election if you're a member. But besides that, everyone is invited to join in on the conversation that we're going to be having around other topics, like we're going to be talking about a year in review, how we've been doing over the last year. We'll talk about our financials, and then we're going to talk about where are we headed as a spiritual community. So please come join me in the conversation. I would love to see all of you there.
Good morning, Ahiah. Ahiah's life visioning reveal a place in consciousness where Spirit's idea of your life and your project may be revealed. There is a spiritual idea, a perfect prototype undergirding everything that is. We are the conduit for the vision to be revealed. Michael Beckwith. Come sit with others who support you in revealing the joy, brilliance, light, good, and life that you already are. According to Ernest Holmes, the veil is thin. He says, I feel it, I experience it. It crowds itself against me, flows through me, express itself in me, and multiplied itself around me. Join the Ahiah movement next month, September 12th. Life visioning practice every second Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
And so now let's do our benediction. If you will read along with me the words that are on your screen, something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all of my affairs. I accept it. I am it. And I share it, just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. Amen and amen. So namaste, everyone. I really would like to join you and have you join me in our Zoom room. You can find it at ahiah.com/virtual. And just click on the Go to Zoom button, and it'll take you there. Because what we're going to be doing in just a moment is we're going to start up our annual meeting. And we'd love to have you there. We're electing some officers. We're talking about where we've been over the last year and some since our last annual meeting. We're going to talk about where we're headed. And we're going to be also talking about some of the things, getting some ideas from you about how to be in this virtual world we find ourselves in right now. So I hope to see you there. Thank you, and namaste.